Welcome back to NYSE TV Live. Well, today, Fast Company announced its world-changing ideas list, and this year's list boasts over 100 winners. Well, joining me now with more in studio is Brendan Vaughan. He's editor-in-chief of Fast Company. Brendan, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Congratulations. I'm sure a lot of work went into compiling
a lot of work,
this big list. What does it showcase?
So the World Changing Ideas list is a list that we do every year. It showcases projects. We call it World Changing Ideas, but rather than some of our other lists, which showcase people or companies, this list is all about projects and ideas that have the potential to change the world or are already changing the world.
And who are some of the big winners this year?
So for the first time this year, we actually named the World Changing Ideas Visionary of the Year. So a person, I just said it's all about projects. There is one exception, this person, Ron Vakris, CEO of Costco. Ron kind of withstood the pressure of activist shareholders to back away from Costco's commitment to DEI. And there was a vote, there was a proposal put to the shareholders asking them to get rid of this and back away from this, as many companies have. Big companies ranging from John Deere, Meta, Google, Nike, a lot of these companies have backed away from the DEI efforts. Vakris and his 98% of his shareholders voted down the proposal to back away from this, saying no and kind of standing tall against the anti-DEI backlash.
Interesting. Now, I'm sure when you put this together, it was a lot of interviews. What was the methodology or process like?
So the methodology is that we sift through well over 1,000 applications that companies submit to us to be considered for a World Changing Ideas honoree. So I say it's a lot of work. It's mostly a lot of work for my colleagues who do the bulk of this, who are in the trenches. I receive their results, I review them, but it is a very vigorous process. It takes vigorous and rigorous. It takes months. Companies and projects are whittled down over time to the point where we choose these 100 winners at the end for the projects that really stand above the rest. The most innovative, the most potentially impactful. We honored projects that are in climate, sustainability, healthcare, recycling, energy, EVs, really across the spectrum.
You know, here at the Stock Exchange and in the business community, perhaps at large, the two terms that we hear the most about now are tariffs, right? As it relates to market activity, prices that consumers pay, and of course trade around the world. The second being artificial intelligence and the potential with that technology. Were those on display in this list?
So it's interesting. Tariffs in the other story from this issue that we're going to talk about, new issue of Fast Company right here. I have to just show it real quick. Tariffs were a significant factor in that. They were definitely part of this. A lot of these applications came in last year before the tariffs really took effect. I actually expect the impact of tariffs to have a huge role in the 2026 World Changing Ideas, because that will be things that happened during 2025. AI, absolutely. I mean, one that comes to mind is this company called RxAll, and this is a company that is, its mission is to weed out counterfeit drugs in Africa. So there's a vast majority of pharmacies in Africa are mom and pop, and so a lot of counterfeit drugs make their way into the supply chain. RxAll is a startup that uses AI, among other things, but AI is part of their product, their RX scanner, which is their flagship scanner, which does use artificial intelligence to identify counterfeit drugs.
Interesting. I'd like to hear more about climate and sustainability and what was featured on that front.
Sure. So we had this Peruvian company that does a certain kind of concrete that had a sustainability angle. There were companies that improved the recycling system, recycling infrastructure, not just one. Multiple companies that did that. The Savannah College of Art and Design submitted a soil-powered lamp. So basically a lamp. So, you know, SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, they are known for their incredibly creative design work. This was where design meets sustainability. So there's these microbes in soil, enormous amount of microbes exist in even a tiny teaspoon of soil. You can turn those microbes into energy. And that's what this project did, creating light from soil.
It's fascinating. So amid all the submissions that you reviewed, Brendan, what did you find as perhaps a common thread or something that really made these projects and these people stand out among the rest?
You know, just imagination and the ability to kind of think of things that no one else would think of. I mean, one product that comes to mind from this is an inflatable bike helmet. So, you know, a lot of people don't wear helmets because they're big and they're bulky. And if you're going to work, oh, am I really going to put that helmet in my backpack? It's going to be uncomfortable. This is a company, it's called Vaughan, and they created a helmet that is in tests stood up just as well as any other bike helmet, in some cases even better, and can fold down to 1/10 of its size and just fit easily into your backpack, and you can just inflate it when you're ready to use it. So that sort of imagination, I think, and there's plenty of other examples like that, where it's just the form of the project is innovative and imaginative in a way that stands out from the competition.
Brendan Vaughan, he's the editor-in-chief at Fast Company, joining us in studio with world-changing ideas list. Brendan, thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's great to have you.